Hello, Sid Roth here with Jerame Nelson, and I'm going to tell you something.
And so me and my friend are flying from New Jersey back to Vancouver, where I was living at the time. And as we're flying back, we're just talking about God stories. You know, we're telling testimonies of miracles and dreams and visions and encounters. And at that time, I was telling mainly Bobby's because I was just with him.
Right.
And so we get to Vancouver, and my brother Josh picks us up in my car from the airport. We get in the car and we begin to drive. And so we're so excited about the testimonies, we start telling him about the testimonies. Then all of a sudden my friend Craig, who's in the back of the car, back seat, starts screaming, "What's going on? What's going on? We're in Mississippi." And I'm thinking, what? And
what?
Yeah. So I look back at him and I look forward, and you know, we were driving down the Vancouver highway. Well, all of a sudden we're not on the Vancouver highway anymore, Sid. We were on a normal street. There were street lights. We look to the left. There's a guy mowing the lawn. And my friend in the back screams, "I know that man. I know that man. I went to high school with him. This is my hometown." And my brother's driving the car, and he just looks stunned. He's like, he's trying to figure out what's going on. And so all of a sudden I look back.
How many miles away was this from where you were?
2,700 miles.
Did you get that? He's all of a sudden transported 2,700 miles.
Yep.
We don't have to worry about gas prices going up with that type of supernatural travel.
Yeah, and you don't even have to have a current passport.
Okay, then a major encounter happens to Jerame in Scotland. What happened?
Yeah, I was in Scotland, and you know, as I was praying, I was just in a time of prayer and worship, and all of a sudden I had a face-to-face encounter with Jesus. And when I say face-to-face, this is probably the only time I've ever had this. It was like Jesus appeared to me as a person. It was real. And he comes up to me, and Jesus was wearing a white robe with a blue sash, and he walks up to me.
He had Israeli colors on,
Yeah.
by the way. Just want to point that out.
That's true. Yeah, and he walks up to me, looks me right in the eyes, and he pulls the sash back, the blue sash, and there's his heart. And his heart was on fire. It was burning. And he takes his right hand and he touches my head and he prays for me. And as he prays for me, it's like fire goes through my entire being, and all of my spiritual senses were heightened. They were activated. And from that moment on, there had been a real impartation of activation of all the spiritual senses, both for myself and also in meetings or places that we speak, people get activated.
I'm curious. Are you seeing any angelic activity going on here right now?
You know, Sid, I actually have been seeing an angel in the spirit, and I believe it's actually for somebody who's watching online right now. And I saw an angel laying hands on someone, and I saw a tumor dissolving, and specifically in the stomach area. And so if that's you and you're watching right now, just put your hand on your stomach and just receive your miracle right now. I believe that God has sent an angel on assignment to release that over you right now.
Now, tell me, when it was activated sound, you heard something hit the ground. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I was in a meeting in Canada one time, and I was on the front row, and I was praying, and I was asking God, "Lord, what are you going to do in the meeting tonight?" And I heard the sound of something fall and hit the ground. It sounded just like that. And I said, "God, what was that?" And the Lord said to me, "Jeremy, that's a gemstone, and I'm going to send it into the meeting tonight to build people's faith." And so I leaned over to the pastor that I was with, and I said, "Hey, I know this sounds strange, but I just heard the sound of a gemstone fall in the spirit, and I felt like God said one is going to come tonight." And when I told him that, he looked at me and he said, "That's definitely different, but I'll agree with you." And so he agreed with me in prayer. We said, "Lord, whatever you want to release, we receive it." And it was amazing. That night, there was a 3-carat gemstone that fell. A woman found it, and she actually took it to gemologists, a few of them actually, and they appraised it. They looked at it. They said it was one of the most perfect gemstones they'd ever seen, and it was a diamond.
Jeremy, it's